Good evening, good evening, good evening. And it's always a pleasure to see you. And it's always a pleasure to be seen. And if you're looking at my face, you know what time it is. Okay, a little realism going on here, but this is GameFACE. I'm your host, Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt, none the wiser wise. And Matt, as always, before we get started, I got to go to the questions.
Hit them.
So if you're trying to figure out how to keep the noise level down in your house while you're recording
Wrong podcast.
You're on the wrong podcast. And if you're trying to figure out how to make sure that the carrots that you put in that stew are going to come out soft, once again, you're on the wrong podcast. But if you're trying to get insight into Bay Area sports on a local level, once again, you put your GameFACE on. And if you're trying to get insight into sports and sporting news on a national level, once again, you put your GameFACE on. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt, none the wiser wise. Matt, what do we got?
Hey, man, it's all good, man. We just roll with it, baby. But what we have going on is we got a ton. So you got the Niners finally putting it together on offense and getting a big win against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
You have the San Jose Sharks who pulled off another win in overtime. Shout out to my boy Alberto Lua for hooking me up with sweet tickets. And I'm not talking about sweet tickets. They were sweet tickets, but you're in the luxury box right there, center ice. Awesome tickets. Shout out to the Sharks getting it done down every person on their roster.
Wow.
I looked down pregame. I couldn't recognize a person except for Burnsy and a couple others. They were hit so hard with COVID. They pulled up a ton of players from the San Jose the Barracudas, and they got it done. They got a win done. They're going tonight. The Warriors are going tomorrow against Charlotte. So we got a lot going on. You got the news today of Henry Ruggs III getting in an accident. So there's a ton going on. What I did look at today, though, what I was interested in seeing was what the odds were for the Super Bowl and who's the favorite. And currently you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 5-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. And I thought about it. Should I do it? Should I put money down on the Bucs to win the Super Bowl? Because the Niners were 70-1 and those odds aren't good. And so I'm not going to do it quite yet. I'm not willing to pull the trigger, but if I was, I would be going over to Bet Online. They're back and they're better than ever. They have a new web interface from the start of the basketball season. They have more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Richard, I looked at some of their prop bets or some of the bets you could make. You could bet on politics. If you are that bored, you can bet on politics. Right now, currently, the former president, Donald Trump, is favored to win in the midterm elections. So you could go over to Bet Online. You don't have to bet on sports. You could bet on politics. I wouldn't do it, but if you want to, go right ahead. But do it over at Bet Online, because Bet Online remains the number one spot for all your basketball, football, and even your political action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today. And if you want to receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit, use the promo code BLEAV50. That's Believe 50, BLEAV 50 to receive your bonus. Bet Online, it's the fastest way to bet on all your favorite sports. And Bet Online, it's where the game starts. The game has started for the Atlanta Braves versus the Houston Astros. And I hate to be a spoiler, but it looks like the Braves may tomahawk chop the Houston Astros and win the World Series tonight. They're up 6-0 in the 7th inning. And it's looking beautiful. Again, shout out to my boy Alberto Lua. not only hooking it up with the Sharks tickets, but for his team, the Atlanta Braves, looking like they're going to get it done. I hope they do it.
Yeah. Well, touching on that 49ers game, I mean, Jimmy just balled out in this game. He did. I mean, 17 of 28, 322 yards. He had a passer rating of, 100.6. And ready for this? No INTs. He just, what they say, you're comfortable in your own environment. And Chicago is his environment. That's where he's from. So I like the ball carrying of Elijah Mitchell. And I'll tell you something, the pile move to get into the end zone, that wasn't that beautiful. I was just like, wow, man. I was just sitting there going, and then all of a sudden he gets in, I'm like, yeah. So that was amazing. And really that scene kind of summed up what the Niners were dealing with. You know what I mean? They were just trying to get up the mountain, so to speak. And these 4 losses had them way, way down, and they needed something to lift them. And that just showed right there determination and grit, and they weren't going to stop.
No, and you're absolutely right. Mitchell had a stellar game. Every game he's played, he's been out. I mean, if he's not your number one running back, I don't know who is. Jimmy Garoppolo with 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those games. It's a head scratcher. Jimmy Garoppolo is a head scratcher because one week he looks like an MVP caliber quarterback, and then the next week he looks like a rookie. He looks scared, and so it's really, really frustrating. But what Jimmy did do in the 49ers Super Bowl, not when they got the Super Bowl, when they got to the Super Bowl, but didn't win it, is he put consistent games together. And that's what we need right now. Jimmy Garoppolo's the man. Trey Lance, buy his time. Mm-hmm. Let Jimmy finish out this season. Let's see what he could do against the Cardinals, who are coming off of a loss. So they've been humbled a little bit. This is a chance to get back, to get a game right here. So let's see what happens. Shanahan, perfectly called game offensively. I thought he did a great job. So you can't be mad at any of it.
Well, I'll tell you something. It was another Debo day. Okay.
Consistency at Debo, 6 receptions, 171. He had that 80+ yard run.
9 targets.
Beast.
9 targets. That's the thing. I remember Jerry Rice was once saying that, if his goal would be to go out in certain games and catch, he said, my goal is to get 10 balls. Okay, you catch 10 balls in the game, that's balling out. That is, and he had 9. So another Debo day. Brandon Ayuk,
4 catches, 75.
Yeah. He had a little resurgence there. I think he also called a 2-point conversion too, didn't he? I think he did. I think he did. I think he called a 2-point conversion. And Mohamed Sanu, the veteran, showing some life. I mean, he had some pretty big catches, man. I was kind of impressed. I was like, wow, okay. Sanu showing up, man. 3 receipts, 59 yards, okay. But, he is a veteran. So, having him come in and pull up, over 100 yards per game, it's like, well, no, them days are behind him. But he's still showing some life. And it's given Garoppolo a third option. The team as a whole for receptions, they had 17 receptions. Okay, guys were catching the ball in that game. Okay, but I tell you one thing though, you gotta give the nod to Justin Fields, man. He played well. He did. I mean, he was 19-27, 175 yards.
Oh, but he gashed him on the ground. He gashed him.
Yeah.
That's where he got him.
He almost ran for 100 yards or something like that.
He had over 100 yards.
Over 100 yards, yeah.
He was 10 rushes for over 100 yards. He was their leading rusher. So.
Yeah. I mean, he had a touchdown, but he also had an INT. Now, moving over to what you had said before, we had the dark cloud appear over the last couple of days. So apparently, I guess Henry Ruggs III, you had talked about at the beginning of the show, apparently got into an accident, and it was a pretty brutal accident. So apparently, I guess him and his girlfriend, they had some injuries. His girlfriend's still in the hospital. He had some injuries, but they weren't life threatening. The problem is that he hit another car. Okay, and that car had a passenger, a female, and she died. So, and apparently the car caught fire, and she died in the car. So I don't know. People saying that he's obviously going to be suspended from playing right now, but I think ultimately he's probably going to get some jail time because that's vehicular manslaughter, and they're in Vegas at the time, so I don't know what Vegas laws are like, but I know here, you do that here, they put you in jail.
It sucks. So here's the thing I do know. I did hear a rumor. Now it is a rumor, it's not confirmed, but I did hear a rumor that if you're an NFL player and you have too much to drink, that they actually have a number you can call that will come and pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. And it's easy. You don't have to pay. You probably have to pay somewhere, or you probably do pay in your union fees or whatever, but that's an option. So if that's an option, there should be never any excuse to be drinking and driving. If that's the case, we don't know that. We don't know that definitively. I've seen various reports. It's really tough to speak on any of it. If that is the case, shame on him for not being responsible. If it isn't, it's just really a really crummy situation because an individual lost their life. Like family members have lost sisters, a sister, a mother, a wife, a loved one. And that is unfortunate.
Well, there is also, I'm sorry, but as much as you don't want to see a person like Henry Ruggs, this happened to him, to your point about calling a phone number, hey man, you know what? There's Uber. There's absolutely no reason for you to be behind the wheel after you've had a couple of pops. Okay, there's no reason for you. There's too many ways to not be behind the wheel when you've had alcohol in your system. Okay, so for you to let this happen, it's unfortunate. It's not something you want to see. Condolences to the young lady's family, because they lost a loved one, and really there was no reason for it to happen, except people just making bad decisions. Okay, and that is something that's going to be on his head the rest of his life.
Yeah, it's real life. It's real life stuff. This family lost a loved one, and all that anybody is talking about is Henry Ruggs III and what's going to happen to him, and what does this mean for his football career, and is he going to go to jail? Is it vehicular manslaughter? And it's like, someone just lost their life.
Yeah.
This is real life stuff. Like, his life is forever changed. If nothing happens, there's no consequences or whatever, his life is forever changed. Like, you can't experience something and not be changed by that.
Yeah.
And so it's so unfortunate. It sucks. And ultimately it probably could have been avoided.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and redirect this a little bit because we have another dark cloud to deal with. Apparently the Chicago Blackhawks have a situation that ultimately is probably going to shake up that front office. Okay. They had a sex scandal where a player by the name of Kyle Beach was sexually assaulted by the former video coach, Brad Aldridge. And apparently this happened the year that they were going for the Stanley Cup. And so apparently the front office was aware of it. They knew, okay, because he had brought it to their attention. Now, the way they handled it is they didn't handle it right away because they felt like it would be a distraction to the team because they were like I said, they were playing for the Stanley Cup. But what happened was once all that was over, the way they handled it afterwards was not done appropriately and it wasn't done correctly. Okay. In other words, charges weren't formally charged. You know, it kind of, I won't say it got swept underneath the rug, but it got put on pause longer than it should have. And you know, you hear about, you know, this type of stuff. You had the situation in Penn State, okay, and then this other cat, Nassar, okay, with the U.S. women's team. And really what really makes me very upset about this is that you got common everyday Joes like you and I, right? We get up, we go to work, we pay our bills, we, you know, that sort of thing, look after the kids, wife, that whole thing. We're not put into areas of authority like that, but these people are. And it just sickens me when I see people do things like this because we average everyday Joes don't get that opportunity that they have. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's coming to me going, Rich, we want you to be a videographer for the Golden State Warriors. Like, no, that's not going to happen. Okay. But then you get somebody who's doing it and then they mess it up. And now there's a stain, you see, and that stain won't go away because what's been done's been done. I tell you something, that young man, Mr. Beach, he's, you know, living with that nightmare, you know?
You're right. I won't understand it. I just can't. I can't understand. I don't understand the philosophy or the concept of putting money or success or winning over people, over human beings, over people's rights, over people's whatever it may be. Like that, we're putting success and money over those things. And then what ends up happening is it comes back to bite you in the end. And now there's this big old black cloud over your accomplishments, over your success, over the money you've made, because you're putting money over human beings. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You're right. I'll never be successful, Richard, probably because of that, because I will never put money or success over people. It's just not right. And so you're right. I'll be a scrub that just sits here and talks about sports the rest of my life. And I may never become successful at it. But you know what I will do is I will treat people with respect. I will treat people with dignity. I will treat people the way that I would want to be treated, because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And because everybody wins in that scenario, not just one person, or not half the team, or 75% of the team, or in that case, 99% of that team is looked at as being successful or winners or the best and the best. But that one individual that was done dirty by that entire organization or the leaders of that organization, he was done a disservice.
Right. And
he can't look in the mirror and be like, I achieved something. I'm successful. I am, I did something great. No, he's got to look in the mirror and deal with all the crap that's coming along with this. I don't get it. I don't get the money over people. I really don't. That's why I'll probably never be rich. Yeah. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. It's like you start to realize, really what's more important in life. What's more important is not, attaining wealth, has its merits, okay, if you will, but a clean conscience is a much better thing to attain.
And look at the guys that do it the right way, the Jerry Rices, the Stephen Currys, the guys that did it the right way, the underdogs, the ones that you never expected to do it, the guys but they did it the right way. They took the steps. There were no shortcuts. There was no cheating. They put in the hard work. They were good, decent human beings to other human beings, and they busted their butt to be the very best at what they did. And you could look at them like Jerry Rice. I'm telling you, man, the dude is the GOAT for a reason, because of the way that he did it, the way that he did his job, the way he went about business, the way he played ball. And that's a beautiful thing about sports, not this crap.
No. So why don't we go ahead and turn the page on that? I just want to bring it up that it is unfortunately something distracting to the game of hockey right now. We're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors, one of my favorite subjects. Got to listening to Steve Kerr today, and he was just going on about how he feels like this team just have a good feel for each other. There's camaraderie. And he said those things are the things that he wants to see as a head coach. Okay. They had I guess a practice today. And what happened was Curry was coming down, dribbling. And what he did was he did a no-look pass, and Looney caught the ball, and Looney went up. Okay. And missed the dunk. But then afterwards, he walked over to James Wiseman. He told Wiseman, he said, okay, look, in that scenario, that pass is going to be coming to you. Okay. He said, and we want you to do what you do. Just dunk the ball. And really what they want him to focus on when he comes back is dunking the ball, defending the hoop, and blocking guys out. They're going to use him as a big man because that's what he is. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great idea because you know what? You got these big men, they want to come out and shoot the three. It's like, okay, great. But, down in the post, they need to, that is slowly coming back to basketball. And I'm glad. I really am, because basketball has always been a chess match. But don't get me wrong. And I love to watch Steph Curry shoot the three. Okay, I admit it. I do. I love it. But we gotta be realistic. Watching him do that does take away some of the other mechanics of the game. You know what I mean? And so to have that big man out there, that's going to be something that's going to be. I can't wait for it to materialize.
Well, you're probably not going to have to wait very long, because I did see a report that James Wiseman has been cleared for full practice.
Wow.
They still don't have a timetable on his return, but he's cleared for full practice. So that means he's going to be getting some of the reps that he needs to develop his game. And with the Warriors right now at 5-1, and knowing that you're going to be getting some help, depth wise in the big man area, and the cherry on top that Klay Thompson is going to be coming back soon.
I knew you
because I'm watching him practice and come off screens and take shots from all over the court, Klay Thompson. Mm-hmm. And it don't look like he's missing a beat.
I know. I tried. The last time we had this show, I think we had Shu on with us. Mike the Shoe Schumann. And I told Shu that I saw Klay running from side to side on the court, shooting threes. And he was making them too. He was making those shots. And it didn't look like he slowed down at all. It looked like he was vintage Klay Thompson.
Yeah, offensively, I don't think there's a thing to worry about. Defensively, we'll see. Can he move laterally? Can he get side to side? Can he D up like he used to be, a shutdown defender? So we'll see. I was a little skeptical coming into this season, because I just thought that in the Western Conference, I thought a lot of the top teams made some good additions to their roster that were going to make them really, really tough for the Warriors. And that's not looking to be the case. The Warriors look to be a very, very dominant team, and a power team right now. And that's super exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah. And if you remember earlier, I said that, I had them pegged as a top 4 team in the conference, because really at the end of the day, like I said before, no matter what adjustments these other teams have made, okay, the Warriors know these guys. Okay, it's not like they brought somebody fresh in. They know who these guys are. Right now they're tied for first place with Utah. Jazz getting off to a good start this year. But I mean, they know, hey, when they go play Portland, it's Portland. They know when they go play Denver, it's Denver. And you know what I mean? It's like they know, these guys. They know, Denver just picked up Lance Stevenson, right? The Nuggets. And it's like, okay, they know Lance Stevenson. They knew him when he was with the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you
They knew him when he was with the Cavs and LeBron back then.
Right. So I mean, they know these guys. So I expect them, the Warriors, to go out there and basically bring the recipe for success.
I have a question for you, Razor, before we go. I want to make sure that I get your perspective on this. Mm-hmm. One of the coaches for my kids' baseball team, Coach Chris, he goes, "Hey, I'm telling you, there's something going on between Shanahan and Lynch. There's some sort of riff that's going on there. I don't know. We don't know. We can't quite put our finger on it. But I'm asking you, like, if Shanahan does not turn this team around this year, could we be seeing the beginning of the end of the Shanahan Lynch era? Because something's brewing. It does feel like something's brewing.
Well, I will say this much. If he does not turn around, you probably won't see Lynch back.
Lynch, you think Lynch will get back?
Yeah, Lynch will probably be, because you have to look at his track record so far. Okay, a lot of his picks have missed.
But how much of that is Lynch and how much is that is Shanahan? Or you think Shanahan's going to throw Lynch under the bus and be like,
well, you think about this. Shanahan's not the one that's saying that he missed. Okay, the president, Al Guido, is saying that. You see what I mean? So it's like, if the team doesn't turn around, they're going to look and say, okay, we didn't have the right players to get this done. And the players that we had right, they were probably most likely hurt. Okay. So what does that mean? It means that we need to get somebody in here who knows how to draft. Okay. Because if the draft picks come in, Shanahan knows what to do with them. Okay.
But doesn't Shanahan have say of who I want? Like, I need this guy. I mean, isn't Brandon Ayuk a Shanahan guy? Isn't that who Shanahan wanted?
No, that was that. As far as I know, we're talking about, particularly just draft picks. Okay, we're not talking about trades or anything like that. We're talking about just draft picks. And as far as I know, Lynch is the one that's making the call on the draft picks. Okay, Shanahan, once the picks are made, he can veto it for whatever reason. If he feels, well, you know what, no, I don't like that, he can veto it. He has a power of vetoing. But from my understanding, the draft picks are handled by Lynch. So my whole deal is, when you look at his track record so far, most of his picks haven't panned out. Reuben Foster didn't pan out. Who else? What's Banks, the one they just got? He ain't played it down all year. What's the other kid from Stanford? I can't think of his name. But you look at those picks that he went on a limb for, they didn't pan out.
Nothing. Well, it's going to be interesting because I like I said, I feel like Coach Chris is onto something. Something's a brewing.
Well, this is the thing. The one thing that's happening too is that they think that Lynch is making some decisions regarding player personnel, and he's not filling Shanahan in.
Well, and that's kind of what brings this whole thing up, because there was the report that came out. We are listening to local radio. They're talking about the book that came out about the Patriots, how the Patriots called the Niners, said, hey, we'll give you a second round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo in this last draft. And Shanahan came out and said, nobody called us. I never got a call. If that would have been offered, I would have talked to the coach, which leads me to believe because the reporter who wrote the book, I was listening to him on the game 95.7 the game, and he was saying, I heard, I mean, I didn't say that they spoke to Shanahan specifically, but they did reach out to the Niners. So who did they reach out to at the Niners? Was it Lynch? And did Lynch not pass on the information to Shanahan that they could have got off of Jimmy Garoppolo, got a second round pick, went with Trey Lance, and just started kind of rebuilding this year? I don't know, man. It's something.
Well, it is
fishy.
Well, it is a what if, but I think that whole situation, once again, it's hard to speculate because we really don't know. But I honestly do believe that you're right. I agree with your coach there. I think there is something going on between Lynch and Shanahan. I really do. I think, and it's something that really, at the end of the day, if both guys are smart,
they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll sit down as men and sit there and figure it out, okay, and smooth out the rough edges, because this team's got to play better football. And if it doesn't, like I said, heads are going to roll. We got to go. As always, none the wiser. This has been fun.
Appreciate it.
Yep. So, by the way, this video will be on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in GameFACE A1 and you can watch this episode. Also, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, we will give you a GameFACE t-shirt. And I believe behind you, Matt, up on the wall, that looks like that's it, isn't it?
That's the back of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the back of it, yeah. So you can get that Sharks t-shirt if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, guys, I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt None the Wiser Wise. And this has been GameFACE, Bay Area Sports Magnified.